Hey, brother teacher here. I was just thinking not too long ago about the Black Lives Matter movement, so to speak, and the police lives matter. Everyone's lives matter, irrespective of who you are, what your nationality is, your race, color, or creed. All lives do matter. And even more deeply than that, I was thinking about 911, September 11th, and all of the lives that were lost. And we claim that approximately 3,000 plus people lost their lives in the Twin Towers during that fatal day. But has anyone considered how many lives were lost in the Middle East, in Iraq? It was said that someone was behind the 911 attacks. And it was stated that bin Laden, Osama bin Laden that is, was the culprit. But under the watch of George W. Bush, he turned the tables and he pursued Saddam Hussein at the time, allegedly saying that he had weapons of mass destruction. After having several inspectors there for several weeks, they could find no weapons of mass destruction. This was all still around the same time after 9/11. So basically, he took his eyes off the prize, which was supposed to be Osama bin Laden. And he turned his attention to Saddam Hussein, who had no connection with bin Laden whatsoever as far as 911 was concerned. But President Bush was insistent upon attacking Iraq, supposedly for weapons of mass destruction. But he was told by the inspectors that there were none there. And he went on with his war campaign against Iraq, utilizing billions of dollars worth of revenue, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of ordnance and military staff and equipment, bombing that place relentlessly, 24 hours a day, every day. Now, I started with the premise of all lives matter, but we say we lost 3,000 plus lives in the Trade Center. But does anyone consider the fact that they lost over 100,000 individuals, men, women, and children, innocent men, women, and children, as a result of that campaign? Now, mind you, if there was any legitimacy in that war at all, let's say hypothetically, if there was some legitimacy in that war in Iraq, because it really was not a war, because it was really an invasion by the United States under George W. Bush. But if there was any legitimacy, why in the world was there such a casualty of innocent men, women, and children on the level that it was? Were their lives okay to be forgotten? Did their lives matter, President Bush? I am an advocate for all life. Now, when we have these made up wars by politicians, someone does indeed suffer. We all suffer. Hundreds of thousands of individuals have lost their lives to 911 in the Middle East. All because President Bush, George W. Bush, decided to go against his advisors. They told him there was no weapons of mass destruction. And after a period of time, they told him we couldn't find any weapons of mass destruction. So he told the media and the public that it turned into a humanitarian issue because Saddam Hussein was a dictator, killing men, women, and children innocently. If that were the case, if that's the case that he wanted to make, then why didn't he invade North Korea? That leader was a dictator. What about Angola and Afghanistan? And there's a plethora of other places that had sitting dictators at the time who committed all kinds of evils against humanity on their soil. He never invaded those. Maybe it's because they didn't have anything to offer. Iraq was one of the most major contributors of oil to the United States. And after it was all said and done, who casually moved in to there to control the oil fields but Halliburton, along with BP Oil and a few others, American company, and maybe an Asian company? But do you get my point? Was it all about oil and the strategic positioning, if you will, for the United States? If Saddam Hussein was not going to play ball and follow the rules or the policies of the United States, we'll just go take it. Could it have just been that reason? Again, well, you can think about that. You can muddle over that in your own mind. But again, why does so many men, women, and children have to die in Iraq? And there was no connection to 911. President George W. Bush was fathered in to something that many politicians are. And that is the exoneration of those people in power in the United States. President Bush is as guilty as sin of the attack on Iraq. It never should have happened. And then we wonder why we have Al Qaeda and various other terrorist groups that have come into existence and continue to form daily. It's a result of him and his bad decision. His bad decision wasn't based on military advice. It was all based on an agenda that was already preconceived, already thought out, already planned out, way before 911 ever occurred. What is your opinion? Do all lives matter? Did the lives in the Middle East, in Iraq specifically, did they matter? Was the Iraqi war necessary? And if so, tell me the specifics for why it was necessary. But make sure you have your information together, because I might call you on it. Okay? Comments in the comment section below. Like this video if you desire. Share it if you desire. Just some food for thought. All lives matter, not just American lives. I'm out.